Howdy folks. So I was asked to do a teardown of this, and normally I wouldn't just do it on one person's suggestion. However, because the grease keeps leaking out of this gearbox, I kind of want to take it apart just to see what's going on in there, and I'll buy some proper grease if it's just that this stuff's too thin. It may be that they just heaped way too much in there, but anyway, I'll take this apart as much as I can. I really don't want to have the situation where I take something off and the gears go everywhere and then I can never put the bloody thing back together again, because I really do want to keep this. I'll also open up the power supply. Hopefully I can get this knob off, because when I opened it when I first get it, because I always check these cheap Chinese supplies whenever I get them before I plug them in, because you know they might kill me. I couldn't get the knob off, so I'll try and do that now. Let's actually start with the power supply, because that'll be the easiest. Now, unfortunately, you're going to have to watch me use a normal manual screwdriver, which is, I don't know, I feel like a pleb using a manual screwdriver. Now, technically, I could do these screws, but I'd rather not open the power supply while the power supply is running, because that seems a little bit dangerous to me. You know, in case it slips. So as I showed in my review, there's really no markings on this. No, I mean, unless that Chinese there means something. Maybe I should get like Google goggles or something and see if I can translate that or whatever. I don't know. It's been unplugged long enough that I don't think there's going to be any charge in it. There's only 2 caps that would have charge. Okay. Cool. So let's try and get this knob off. Without destroying the plastic. This could be a challenge. Oh, there we go. There's just no way to get leverage under it because it's really flush. Okay, so there is our power supply. So, actually let me just do this. It's a little bit easier. Okay, so we've got our mains. Comes in from this side here. We've got 4 discrete diodes which form a bridge rectifier. We've got, this looks like an EMI filter cap. We have a fuse here, glass fuse. We have a cap here. It is 22 microfarads, 400 volts. The only 105 degrees C rated, whether I believe that or not. It's got an H on it. So I'm assuming that means something for the company. I have no idea. We have a switching transistor here. Actually, that's actually not a transistor. That's actually some sort of integrated package. You probably can't see it, but there's actually 5 leads on that package, and it's marked U2 rather than a Q. So that would be an all-in-one switch mode IC, a couple of caps, discrete transistors. We have an opto isolator here, transformer. We've got some more capacitors here. We've got 2 pretty decent sized diodes on the output there. The LED, which was off center, so maybe I can just bend that back a little bit. This is our pot for the speed control, which is actually not terrible. And then we've got our output, which is another 105 degrees C rated WKXC 50 volt 470 mic. Sorry about that. And on the bottom you can see we've got the isolation in the middle, which is actually not bad. You can see around that U2, that switching converter, where they've cut slots in an interesting pattern beneath the pins. Or is that sorry, that's not 5 pins, that's 4 pins. I can't count. So it's these 4 here, they're staggered. And they've cut between all of them like that. The soldering quality, it's passable They've got some surface mount stuff on the bottom here. I mean, that looks a little bodgy right there. I'm not too happy about that. The solder is very sort of here and there. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's better than most of the stuff you get. So, I mean, I'm okay with using this. So, and it works. It works. It seems to be perfectly fine. What I might do is I might try and see what the output looks like, because this has just got a this connector on the end, right? It's just supposed to be a DC output. So I might scope this and try and see what kind of how clean the output of this is. I mean, it's driving a motor. It doesn't have to be clean at all, but it would be interesting to see how good the regulation on this is. I mean, it's got a pretty decent output cap, so we'll see. I won't bother putting that back together now. I'll just set that aside, and we'll move on to this thing. So I'll just take the bit out of it. And I'm not entirely sure how I want to take this apart. Actually, before I do anything, let's put some paper towel down in case the grease goes everywhere. Probably not going to help, but I might as well try. Oh, I just get the feeling this is just going to make such a mess. So there are 3 screws that hold this bell on. And I would bet this is spring loaded. Yes. This is spring. This is the thing I'm worried about, because there's a clutch, remember, and that clutch that makes that that ticking noise when you're done. There's going to be a sawtooth and a spring load that loads that, and that spring has to have the full tension of this at maximum on it. So I really don't want this to spring everywhere, and that's a lot of force that's on that screw there. So I'm going to see if I can maybe reduce that a little bit. Okay, I think I'm safe now. That could have ended very badly. Okay, so in here, in this bottom plastic piece, we just have a thread and the plastic insert which screws into that, and it's exactly the way I expected it to be. There's a spring here, and if my camera will focus, this is the spring. This is the preload spring, which is what loads the clutch. And this is our mechanism for holding the bits in. So there's just a little spring there. There's actually 2 springs. There's one on the inside and one on the outside, which is kind of nice. Okay. Now I am terrible with my mechanics, so I will get stuff wrong in this video. So please correct me. Look, there's already stuff on the paper towel, and I haven't even opened the part with the grease in it yet, which is this part as far as I know. So this might be where the actual clutch is. So there appears to be another 3 screws here. Yeah, there's even more oil dripping out of the bottom. Yeah, you can see it just oozing out there. Now this screw appears to be stripped or something, because it's not actually backing out at all, which is going to be a problem. It's not really very magnetic. I mean, if it was totally stripped, it should just come straight out. I'm not sure how I'm going to get that out. It feels stripped, but it's still hanging in there somehow. Oh, God damn it. Okay, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to try and get this screw out. Okay, so I got the screw out, and basically all I did was I flexed it really tight, and then that sort of made it catch enough that it would start to come out, and then I could get underneath it and pull it out. So I have not opened this, so okay. So in here we've got a Planetary gear set. So in case you're unfamiliar with how this works, there's the 3 planets here, and they orbit the sun gear, which is on the end of obviously the motor here, which we'll look at in a second. And it's a gear reduction, so the inside spins quite rapidly and the outside spins at a slower rate, and that's how you get your high torque. So you can see as I turn the bit end, I guess, you can see that the inside spins at that rate, and then the planets spin faster. So that's actually not that bad. It's actually kind of smooth. And you can see the outside, it slips and then stops. So it's got a, how wide is that? Maybe a quarter of a revolution before it stops in both directions. Now this is captive. So I'm not sure if I want to take the clutch apart. I don't really need to. I mean, this is what I really wanted to get into. And I feel like this ring may be involved. It may be press fit in there somehow. And I really don't want to scoop down in there and get all that nastiness out. I'm not sure it's really worth it to get this out. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going any further than that. So I just knocked out the first Planetary set, and there is another Planetary set below that. So there's 2 stages of reduction down here. And this one does not seem to engage that the outer ring. It doesn't slip when I change direction. So I'm not sure how they're doing that. One of the planets is stuck to the I'm not sure what you call that, the sun gear of that other stage. There is a lot of really nasty goop in here. Oh yeah. I don't know if this is good grease or bad grease. I mean, I have no idea. I'm really hesitant to dump this out as well. Yeah, I don't think this is going to come out because I think this is attached directly to the shaft. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get this out anymore. Yeah, I'm not going to go any further with that. Oh, there's already stuff everywhere. Okay, so this is the motor end. So again, we can see there doesn't really seem to be a seal at all on this. Just try and get that to focus a little better. There doesn't appear to be a seal at all. This, what looks like a seal, is just basically built up grease which has been trying to escape, and then of course it slowly seeps out. So I might try and seal this somehow. Maybe stick some tape of some kind in that groove and put this on really tight. I'll clean up a bit of the grease around the edges, but I want to keep grease in here. I don't want to just remove it arbitrarily. I think that's a bad idea. So I'm going to try and take this motor housing off. So I think there's just 2 screws, one on each side. Holds this on. Yes, there's just 2 screws for this one. Which look like they're in at an angle, but that might just be, there might just be pressure against this somehow. And that head is partially stripped. So obviously this is assembled very quickly with very little care. Oh God, that is in there really tight. I may not be able to get this screw out. Oh, okay. I'm just reluctant to do this because I'm not sure if I'll be able to get this back in. Because if these are both on an angle because there's some sort of spring in here or something, I'm basically screwed. No pun intended. I'm never getting this back together again. Because they're both like that. It's just what worries me. If one of them was just on an angle, I'd just say it was poorly put together. Okay, I don't think there's any springs. I'm not sure why they're both on an angle like that. Poor design, maybe? Maybe they screwed up the hole placement? I don't know. Just gotta get this the last little way out. Okay. So, in here, I just expect to see the back of the motor. Maybe the switch. Yep, that's what we got. Oh. Okay, so that's the... Okay, so the motor shaft is actually keyed. I'm not sure if you can see that. I'll see if I can zoom in without getting grease all over my camera. Not sure how well this will come out, but there is a key on both sides of the shaft right at the bottom. It's not very big, but there is a key on this which goes into this gear. So it's not pressure fit like most motors. It actually is keyed, which is good to see. And so the back, it's just a standard brushed motor. Nothing special. I mean, so if the motor starts from where my fingernail is and goes down, that's 1.5 inches maybe by 1 inch. So you get the sort of volume of what that motor is. I'm not taking it out, but so it's a decent. It's bigger than most little hobby motors, which is good to see. I mean, at least it feels like it's got that kind of power, and at least the voltage that goes into it is high enough. So down there we've got a switch. Let's see if I can... Do I have a flashlight on my desk? No, I do not. Where the hell is my flashlight? Oh well, too bad. There's not much to see down there really. There's just a switch up here, which looks like it's double pull, single throw, and just a small switch at the bottom. I mean, their switches are not terribly interesting. And I'm not going to split this housing. I feel like that may end badly. Oh, you know what? What the hell? I've gone this far. There's grease on everything. I might as well. I would recommend that if you bought one of these, I would not recommend taking it apart, just because it feels like it's one of those things that's built so cheaply that it probably will not go back together again. It's very possible that this will be like never the same. It's interesting to see they've actually put metal inserts for where those 2 screws that were both in at an angle. So that's interesting. I really wonder if they did fuck it up and they put the inserts slightly too far back. Because, you know, I'd see, you know, angles like that in, you know, going into plastic with self-tappers, but not usually when they've gone to at least the trouble of doing that. Oh, God. Oh, I know what's holding it on. It's this springy thing that Okay. Let's see if I can get that out without ruining it. Oh, it's at such an angle. You gotta get both out at once. Okay. So now the top should come off. Okay, there we go. Okay, so as you can see, just a micro switch here with the arm, and this switch here, which they've used three of the pins on. So nothing terribly special. Sorry I can't get into the clutch, but this is the part that I'm really screwed if I fuck it up. So I'd rather not do that. I just wanted to get the grease out of this thing, so that's what I'll do. I'll just clean it up a bit. So yeah, hopefully you found that interesting if you were maybe considering buying one of these or something. But I mean, they're relatively safe, and I mean, their quality isn't great, but it does the job, and for the price, I mean, you can't beat that. So yeah, if you want to know anything more, I might be able to answer it in the comments. Thanks for watching.